podcast with hosts Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Better Baseball MLB DFS live stream here. We are talking about the Wednesday 5-game main slate on DraftKings. It was supposed to be 6 games over on FanDuel, but the 6:40 game between the Tigers and Angels has been postponed. FanDuel is still showing a 6:40 lock time, but with late swap, should be okay. But those contests will close at 6:40. So get in there and get in there early, reserve your lineups, and get ready to go for the 7:05 first pitch. DraftKings, 7:05 lock time going on over there. So a little bit of a quick show here today, longer than tomorrow. Tomorrow, you have only 3 games on the main slate here. So some short days before we get to the big slates on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. James, man, how are we doing looking at Wednesday's 5-gamer?
You know, it's an interesting slate. Some good pitchers in really tough spots. Spencer Strider in Fenway Park. Framber Valdez up against Texas. You know, so the best 2 pitchers on today don't exactly have cakewalk matchups. And, you know, same can be said about the mid-tier with Bayo and Rodon not pitching well. Is this Lance Lynn's? Will Lance Lynn even make this starter? Is he traded before it, right? Like,
I hope not.
Officially, well, yeah, no, I second that. I mean, the cover of today's show was Cody Bellinger.
Cover of today's playbook was 5 Cubs. So
5 Cubs. Nice.
There's just the whole team on the bench, just gearing up, ready to go. So
done by Mr. Jon Impemba,
yes.
John Jon Impemba. There.
We don't like to add extra letters and names where they're not pronounced, but that's fine.
But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting slate. No weather outside of the 6:40 game off the FanDuel slate. Nothing we have to worry about on this main slate. Interesting slate overall, John. I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ready to get into it. We have, again, 5 games to talk about. Before we do break down this DFS slate, though, shout out to our friends over at Real Time Fantasy Sports. New users who go to rtsports.com/alarm, promo code alarm23 will get a 100% deposit match up to $200 there. Before we kick off each and every show, we give our RT Sports DFS pick'em plays of the day. So let's get to it for today. Looking at tonight's slate here, James. Again, 5 games. A select amount of props available for these 5 games. Some games I wish they had maybe a few more options for us to take advantage of this slate here, but we can still look through, find a couple of props, kind of put things together for us here. If we want to kick it off for tonight, what's the first matchup that you're looking to target here?
So I'm going to go Mets-Yankees, and I'm going to go less than 6.5 strikeouts for Carlos Rodon. And
okay.
You know, he has not looked good, and he's openly admitted to not looking good since returning. He was, you know, he blew a kiss to a Yankees fan in LA in his 3rd start. And now this is his first start back in the stadium. Since doing that, he's going to definitely be given a warm welcome to. Everyone's going to cheer him on for doing that. They're going to love that so much. And, you know, Yankees fans, as you know, like they're so friendly, and they really love when their pitchers that got $180 million in the offseason don't pitch and then do really poorly when they're on the mound. And now Rodon isn't pitching well, and now has to face a Mets team that, let's face it, they don't strike out.
Right.
And I know Carlos Rodon is a guy who does miss a lot of bats when he's on, but he's rode off right now, John. He's not rode on, he's rode off. He has been a terrible pitcher. So I'm going to go less than 6.5 strikeouts for Carlos Rodon against a Mets team with just a 21.9% strikeout rate against left.
All right. I'm going to go to the Atlanta-Boston game, and I am going to go with less than 0.5 hits for Yu Chang. The Red Sox number 9 hitter going up against Spencer Strider tonight. Chang is hitting 177 on the year. Strider has double-digit strikeouts in all but one game this month, pretty much. If Yu Chang gets a hit tonight off Strider in the Braves bullpen, so be it. Odds are in our favor here, though that isn't going to be the case here tonight. So give me less than half a hit here for Yu Chang. He's gonna go 0 for tonight.
So I love that. And you know what, John? We've gone 2 for 3 for like 3 straight nights.
Yeah.
And you know what we've done each time we've gone 2 for 3? More.
Yeah.
Every time. More.
Right.
But you know what? Our luck turns tonight,
right.
Both taking less than their projected number. So Yu Chang under half a hit and Carlos Rodon under or less than 6.5.
Yeah. So if you go ahead, plug those in there, you get an opportunity to 3x your money here over on Real Time Fantasy Sports. So again, check it out. If you're not already signed up over there, take advantage of our offer that we got going on. You can scan the QR code that's on the screen, or you can go to rtsports.com/alarm, promo code alarm23, and get a 100% deposit match up to $200 there. So that aside, let's take a look at the DraftKings main slate here, James, talking about tonight's contest over on DraftKings here, looking at the full board, break it down into the contest. Strider, Framber, up over 10K. Strider at 12-7. It's a 5-game main slate. He has easily the highest strikeout upside of anybody on this slate here. On smaller slates, sometimes we're willing just to find the strikeout guys. Are you locking in Spencer Strider against this Red Sox offense tonight?
Look, I think it's plain and simple. If Spencer Strider goes out and has 13 strikeouts in this game and you don't have him or on this, you probably don't have a chance of winning a tournament.
Listen, the man had almost 28 fantasy points without a win against Arizona in a game he gave up 4 runs because he had 13 strikeouts. He had 18 fantasy points in a game that he lost because he had 10 strikeouts, gave up 5 earned runs. He has 30 plus easy 30 plus upside in these games here. If he just doesn't give up half the runs he's allowed lately, but still keeps the strikeout. So I'm kind of with you on a 5-game slate. You don't even need him to pitch great. You just need the strikeouts. We saw that with George Kirby last night. George Kirby had 9 strikeouts, didn't get out of the 5th inning, and gave up like 5 earned runs and still had 13 fantasy points. Strikeouts are key to the kingdom over on DraftKings here. So, I agree with you. You kind of have to find a way to fit Strider in your lineup because after that, I mean, I did the playbook today. There's not a lot here. I liked Marcus Stroman against Chicago. I was okay going Quintana against the Yankees. Framber's fine against Texas, but Texas is still good even with their guys out of their lineup, with Seager out of the lineup here. Bayo's been getting hit lately. Atlanta, we know. Rodon struggles, and the Mets, don't strike out and hit lefties well. Heaney going up against Houston, and it has Yordan and Altuve back in their lineup tonight. Like, where else are you looking to go tonight? Because pitching it's bleak. It's not good.
Yeah, and even Stroman's had his struggles. Right. When you look at him over the last 5 starts, he is not the same guy as he was. Not to say he's been terrible, but outside the Boston start, it's been kind of ugly for
He
Stroman.
hasn't been getting any wins. He's been giving up runs. He's one of the biggest favorites on the board, but that's about it.
Yeah, and I like Stroman here. I think this is a good bounce back spot. We talk about the White Sox lineup all the time, and their deficiency is they don't have lefty bats. Benintendi's been better of late. Yohan Moncada is back to provide them a little lefty help, but still, it's Benintendi, Moncada, Oscar Colas tonight is their lefty bats, and I don't love that. So Stroman is fine. Bayo is a really tough sell here, John. Especially 6 home runs in his last 3 starts. 2 of those starts, Cubs and Oakland, is not the best when you have to face Atlanta.
Bellinger was both home runs against the Cubs. He hit them both.
Okay. Well, I guess no surprise there because he's.
But the Oakland one was obviously the surprise because everybody thought like, all right, Bellinger got to him. It wasn't an awful start, big bounce back here against Oakland, and then like JJ Bleday and Jace Peterson, I think, are like going yabo on him, and we're like, what happened here, Ryan Bayo? So for a guy that was an extreme ground ball pitcher and wasn't giving up any home runs, he's now given up 6 in 3 starts. So, like you mentioned, now you're going up against Atlanta, Olsen, Acuna, O'Reilly, like
1 through 9. I mean, let's just 1 through 9. It's just 1 through 9.
We'll see. I mean, he's shut down good lineups this year, but he's going to really have to reset himself because he's not a guy that strikes out a lot of pitchers. Now, Atlanta does bring a potential ceiling strikeout game into play for him. So, we'll see what happens there. But, yeah, big start for Bayo tonight and not one I want to be really looking to have in my lineup.
So, I'm going to go back to the same conversation we had last time out with Lance Lynn.
Sure.
And, again, I get it. Why the Cubs are the face of the whole program today here at Fantasy Alarm has been Cubs friendly. And I get it. He is bad against lefties. The Cubs just released their lineup. Let's see lefties. Tauchman, Happ, Bellinger, Mastrobuoni, Barnhart. So 6 lefties tonight. Gave 4 home runs his last start.
He gave up 2 to Buxton, who's a righty, too. So it wasn't even like...
Buxton. He is projected to be pretty popular again.
The only start he's pitched well in of late was against Toronto, who doesn't have lefties, right? So
who doesn't have lefties.
So I don't know. Yeah, go for it. Mark in the chat. What's up, Mark? He's talking about Rodon rostership percentage is pretty high tonight.
It is.
Because people are, listen, he's plus 150 to get the win tonight, too, on DraftKings Sportsbook. So people do, Vegas kind of likes Carlos Rodon. I still feel like this is more name pedigree person.
For sure.
Like, oh, it's Rodon versus Quintana, advantage Rodon, but it's like, maybe.
Why though?
Right. Like,
what?
I don't see it.
Well, when you look at the Yankees lineup, their best players lately have been lefties. They're leading off Isaiah Kiner-Falefa tonight. Like, that's their leadoff hitter. Yeah. Why is Carlos Rodon a big favorite against, like you said, a Mets lineup that does have a history of hitting lefties? Alonso double-donged yesterday. Lindor hits well in the summer. Francisco Alvarez right back in the lineup after a quick scare and x-rays were negative from yesterday. Like, Pham is back in the lineup. Yeah. There's no reason, like, and Rodon has lost all 3 starts. Lost to the Rockies, the Cubs, and the Angels, none of which are in the playoffs right now. Not a single one of those teams are currently in the playoffs. So, like, I don't know. I get, again, name value. I said it to you in the Angels start, why I was in on Rodon. Like, he is better than what he's doing, and eventually it's going to turn. And that's what the field is betting on. But, like,
the last 2 weeks, both the Mets and Yankees actually really bad against left-handed pitching. Yankees are 25th in WOBA at 250 with a 24% strikeout rate. The Mets, believe it or not, lower than them, 27th in WOBA against lefties, a 25.8% strikeout rate. So, again, smaller sample sizes, of course, over the last 2 weeks here, but neither team's doing well against softballs.
I don't disagree with that, but also, we saw yesterday Pete Alonso finally broke out, right? He has been ice cold for a month and a half. They're batting. They called up Vientos, and he's hitting second. I mean, I know he's been recalled for a few games, but he's hitting second. So, like, Rodon's scary. I get it because the pitching slate kind of sucks. I prefer taking a shot on Quintana, who was I see through you just asked, like, in this matchup, I would prefer to take a shot on a guy $5,700 than Rodon, who's pitched poorly at $9K. Especially, John, we're paying $12,700 for Spencer Strider.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's so expensive.
By the way, fourth highest. He is the 4th highest rostered pitcher of the day.
Strider.
Yep. Framber Valdez
everybody
is your
playing
highest
Framber today.
Framber, Lynn, Rodon, all over 33%, and then Strider checks in next.
Well, again, smaller slates, it's sometimes good to be against the field here, I guess, because the rostership condenses so much. Yeah, interesting to see. I mean, listen, everybody's going to have pitching that they're uncomfortable with in their lineups tonight. That's just the way the slate breaks down. If you told me that this is like one of those slates, what do we have? So last Wednesday day slate where every pitcher got rocked except for like Belak, like that was it.
Yeah,
I think that was the Bayo day. I think that was the day Bayo got lit up by Oakland. Like everybody gave up runs. So that could happen tonight. Striker could give up 5. Framber could give up 5. Everybody could get hit, and it's just like whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's all about your bats. But no one's sitting here with feeling comfortable about who they're throwing in as their SB2, SB1 today. I think there's potential flaws with everybody on this slate tonight.
What do you make of Alex Wood and Hogan Harris both getting 18% rostership?
I mean, the Wood one's interesting because he's a long reliever here. So we've seen Nick Pivetta dominate in these spots, right? Where opener comes in, Pivetta comes in like the second or third inning, throws 5 shutout, gets the win because he's the longest pitcher on record by innings, and gives you 20 fantasy points. So I actually am okay going with Alex Wood here if you think he can shut down Oakland, because I do think that there's merit to him coming in this game facing the bottom half of the A's lineup as his first 2 innings. And next thing you know, he's 4 innings in and maybe he gives up a run, but he's got a win on us. So I'm fine going Alex Wood as well as a pivot off of Quintana. Or you said 18%. Maybe he's more rostered. Has to be more rostered than Quintana tonight if everybody's in on Rodon, right?
No. Yeah, no one's playing. Yeah, 5% playing Quintana.
I don't mind it. I don't hate it. Again, he's basically a strikeout per inning, or he can be a strikeout per inning guy. We've seen him be over the course of his career. So you got to get different on these slates. So I'm fine. I'm fine going there. If you want to just play the best pitchers on the slate, go Valdez and Strider and find value hitters. There's not a ton of bats, but figure it out. So
I'm a little intrigued by Hogan Harris. I have to say, the more I think about it, because we've talked about San Francisco against left-handed
fantasy points 3 of his last 4 starts. So
yeah, well, I mean, Lance Lynn is 35%, and he hasn't given any fantasy points. So look, all I'm saying is San Francisco this year 29th in OPS against left-handed pitching. We've talked about it lately. They've been bad too, right? You already have the last 2 weeks up.
Yeah, they're dead. Yeah, they're dead last in everything. So
it's a good ballpark to pitch in, obviously, which is I think the allure of Alex Wood as well. Like going to Wood or Hogan Harris, and San Francisco strikes out 25% of the time against lefties. When you look at Harris, 6.5, 6.2, 6.7. I mean, he's done pretty solid strikeout rate outside of the one game against the Yankees where he got shellacked. I don't know. I know he's obviously there has not been a lot of good results. His last game was a pretty good result against Houston, albeit. So just
could be.
Listen, throwing it out there.
300. You got to get different. So it could be a spot for. I mean, it used to be an automatic play for the Giants against lefties. Then there was a stretch where they were hammering them again, and then they're on their way back down. Sure, last 30 days their strikeout rate's just 20%, but still dead last in WOBA. So it's right there for you. I agree. All right, let's go on to catcher here. I like Alvarez at 38. It's kind of plugging him right back in the lineup. If you want to spend up for somebody else, you can. You've talked about what Bailey against lefties this year.
Yep.
But he's not special, right? He's just average. So
No, he's been elite against lefties.
No, I mean as a player in general.
Oh, as a player, yeah. As a player in general,
there's nothing special, right? So
yes.
If you want to go, that's fine. I'd rather take the home run potential for Alvarez, I think, against Rodon here than Bailey against Harris. So it's kind of where I'm at. Would you play Higashioka, our guy in chat here, asking about Yankees bats tonight?
Faisal, welcome back, brother.
Does get the lefty spot for Higashioka against Quintana.
Yeah, they're fine. 4.8 implied runs is pretty solid. Higashioka, I've said it a bunch throughout these streams. Like, he has a 167 ISO against lefties. All he does is hit for power. He also has a 37% striker rate against lefties. So it is true definition of all or nothing for Kyle Higashioka. So, Yankees bats are okay. They have some good numbers against lefties. Stanton has some big numbers. Yeah. Volpe's been good against lefties. Bader's been good against lefties. So if you want to play them, fine. I have no qualms there.
Sure. Any other catchers for you?
Yeah, Tucker Barnhart's been pretty good. $2,100 if you just want to punt. 290 over his last 10. I know it's just like a smaller
get a lefty against Lynn. Who knows, right? Anything's possible.
Right. Yeah. So he's had a couple double-digit fantasy point games, and again, this position stinks. Like, if you're playing one of these spend ups, it's almost impossible to get the Sean Murphy 6,200, which is a fine idea. But like, how do you get there? He's not your number one spend up of the day. So.
No, you definitely can't. Definitely can't get there. Without getting some crazy maneuvering, you're just not playing anybody else, right? You're just spending down everywhere. So.
Maybe Maldonado, John. I've said it.
I mean, listen, he homered again last night.
Okay. He just does it against lefties, though. Like, that's it. 174 ISO this year. We know Andrew Heaney has a problem with home runs. That lineup is, the Astros' best player is hitting seventh tonight. Chas McCormick. I mean, he's in. So, like, they have a very deep lineup. I'm assuming when Heaney gets to Maldonado, this is like, all right, this is the guy I can finally, like, relax to.
He grooves one?
Grooves one. Yeah, it just grooves one to Maldonado. Yeah.
I don't hate it. That's fine. All right, first base. Olsen's up $6,400 again. All the Braves are impossibly priced. So no. You almost can't play Strider and other Braves. It's just unless you're just spending down everywhere. You mentioned Alonso, 2 homers last night for him. 286, 937 the last 10. Cody Bellinger is the cover of the stream today. He's on the cover of the playbook. He is first base outfield eligible, so you can play him in either spot. Again, we're all in on lefties against Lynn here, and a few players having as good of a year as Cody Bellinger.
Yes, I mean, he's back to what he was. Y'all must have forgot. Like, he was an MVP.
He was dead for 2 years.
He was dead. No, he was so totally dead. He is the highest projected roster first baseman today. Also interesting, and this kind of speaks to the Strider point, John. Matt Olson getting a lot of ownership love, and that is strictly because no one's playing Strider. So people are electing to target Bayo versus using Strider is kind of what that boils down to.
Yeah.
Which is, interesting approach.
I agree.
Yeah, Bellinger is my top first baseman play of the day.
Okay. If you want to be, I thought being Boston was going to be contrarian today, but if no one's playing Strider, is anybody playing Boston tonight?
Well, people are playing Strider, but he like 20% versus we usually see Strider 40,
sure.
50%.
Well, then is anybody playing the Red Sox tonight? Or like is Turner 12%,
Cassis 9%.
Okay.
So they're kind of split.
What's Yoshida Devers?
Yoshida and Devers. Devers is very highly owned, 15%. Yoshida, 11%.
So people are kind of going at Strider. Tonight, kind of interesting.
Maybe just for the home runs, like because he gave up a couple home runs last game in Fenway. It's a tough place to pitch.
Very expensive Fenway tickets tonight. I took a quick peek. I was like, maybe I'll get to a game after the stream today. $200 a ticket. Red Sox tickets have been like $50 a ticket, even cheaper at times this season. But now they're winning games, and you get a Bayo Strider matchup.
Yeah,
can't get in the bleachers for $200. So
brutal.
No dice. We'll be watching that game from
the couch. Miss the days of $30 tickets, huh? Like you just grab. That's what I missed $30 bleacher seats for the Yankees. Like, $30 tonight.
When the Red Sox were bad, you were able to go to games almost for nothing. And now you can't. Now I guess because they're winning, you can't get to a game anymore. So at least in prime matchups here, Braves are a big draw. They face like the Royals next week. I can go for free.
Yeah.
So, all right. Wilmer Flores is 35. I still like him, even though you've
Yep.
touted some of the numbers there. And Casas, I guess, if you're going against Strider tonight, could be a spot for you. Anybody else the first?
Yeah, Vientos $2,400 hitting second. I think that's incredibly interesting if playing Mets or attacking Rodon.
Okay. Second base position. Then these doing the playbook today found it to be a little difficult.
The pricing. Yeah, pricing, right? It's
Because like there's a lot of guys that are expensive, and then there's on this slate there's really not a lot that is cheap that you want to like confidently put into your lineup.
Yeah, but Justin Turner's a second baseman, John.
So like right,
What?
yeah, because he's played there like 3 times over the past couple of weeks. So,
Okay.
Like Geloff against Walker / Wood today, like could be your value. Turner, Nico Horner, like these guys are all fine, but none of these guys do I think are like great plays today. Bayo against Albies is the wrong split side for Albies, but we know the power is still there. Altuve fresh off the IL, and he wasn't really that good anyways.
And he's so expensive.
5,700. Simeon against Framber at 59. Like Morel
would be great, but like
5K. Well, yeah, Nico Horner is 47. So like I'd rather just spend down and play the cheapest second baseman I think that's going to play today and hit up elsewhere, basically, is what I'm looking at.
What is that? Who is that?
I don't. It could be Schmidt.
Jordan Diaz, maybe, if
Jordan
he starts.
Diaz, maybe.
Right. Would you play Glaber?
Yeah, but it's $4,900.
I'm just like thinking. I know, because like if you're
a lefty,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a hit streak. He's just $4,900. Why isn't he $4,400? Right, like.
Also, congrats to Mark for actually spelling his name correctly.
It's true. We knew who you're talking about, Mark. It's all right. Yeah, I don't know, man. Again, I hate sitting here being like, everybody's tuning in, like, oh, here for the analysis. And I'm like, this position just sucks. So you can spend up and for Simeon Altuve Albies and hope that they play to their talent if you want. But there are other positions with guys that are in good spots that I would rather spend up for. So for me, I kind of just plugged in Geloff, and we'll see if Schmidt gets in the lineup tonight, and maybe I'll just punt him. I know he's been less than 0, but
he has been
it's just not a good spot today with a 5-game slate. So moving on over to third base. You have Riley, you have Bregman, you have Devers, you have Josh Jung versus lefty. I like all of that.
Yep.
I would play every single one of those players. This is where I would rather spend here than spend at second base.
Agreed.
It's kind of how I feel about it. On FanDuel, you luck out because like Mastroboni has second base eligibility. Do we seek out playing Mastroboni? No, like we did the other day, but he is a lefty and he is going up against Lance Lynn. So I would punt him on FanDuel. Jace Peterson has second base eligibility on FanDuel. Would play Jace Peterson on FanDuel. You know, I don't think I'm getting to him tonight because I want to spend up at third, but those are 2 value third basemen you could put into your lineup tonight.
Yeah, we saw Jace Peterson have a slate breaker earlier in the year. He was like 0.5%. He had the double dong, 5 for 5 double dong
points a couple nights ago against Houston. So like he's definitely possible. He had the homer game against Bayo. So like I know, like you look at 215, you say gross, but last 10 games, 280 with 800 OPS. So,
LeMahieu, thoughts?
I mean, he's hitting in the right part of the lineup. We had the question earlier: do we like Yankees bats tonight? This is just a decision you have to make. You know, he's been better, but he's a shell of himself in terms of talent.
Yeah.
You know what? Aaron Judge might come back Friday, according to Boone. So, like maybe that turns this lineup around. Maybe they get invigorated by the idea that Judge is going to be back here. What's Yankees rostership tonight? Are people playing the Yankees?
Yeah. Pretty highly.
Could just ride the chalk. Ride the chalk in positions you hate.
because nobody's playing Quintana. Like not a single
Right.
person is playing.
Yeah.
Um, of course I get logged out. It just why do we get logged out of things?
Get logged
Yep.
out?
I got logged out, so I was trying to provide some context on ownership. Yankees rostership. So the Atlanta Braves are your highest rostered team today. The New York Yankees are second. The Chicago Cubs are third.
Okay.
The lowest rostered team today, lowest two rostered teams today
Mets.
are the Mets and the Texas Rangers. Too.
Yeah. All right. Not going to go up against Framber, and everybody's playing Rodon. So it's like it. I still think Josh Jung could get a dunk against Framber tonight.
He's been great against lefties all year long.
Yeah. I think it could be happening, but for me, what's your okay? Well, we've talked about the list. Who are you playing here? What's your guy?
I mean, I would love to get to Riley for home run upside. Mastroboni probably if I'm punting, and Devers if I'm not playing Strider. If I'm playing Strider, Bregman.
Okay, works for me. Shortstop. I wrote up Lindor. I like Lindor. He actually has he's hitting like 300 career off of Rodon. Now it's 30 at bat sample size. They both played in the AL Central together. When he was on the Guardians or the Indians, and he was Rodon was a White Sox. So have that little BVP. He's got a couple homers off of him. We know the lefty splits are the better split for Lindor there. Pena in line at 43 can also be a spot for you if you want to go just full stack against Lynn. Dansby's at 41. But this is like another position where it's like no value. If you want to play Volpe, you can at 31. Maybe a lot of people are going there tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to Volpe. He's been good against lefties, but he's slumping again where he wasn't. Now he's suddenly back in, he's slumping again. He's had a couple okay games lately, but nothing like breakthrough. Yeah, I mean, I like Lindor quite a bit at the top of the position, especially if the Mets are low owned. Attacking Rodon right now seems.
Hey, if you get like a 3% Lindor home run tonight, like
on a 5-game slate, you're in a very good spot.
That's what I'm saying, right? So, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm big on Lindor here tonight. Can you get to him at 48? We'll find out. Stay tuned. We're building a lineup at the end of the show. Let's see if we can get there. I'm good with Payne here too, hitting second tonight against Heaney. $4,300 is a good spot.
Yeah, he's hit lefties well for 2+ seasons. 355 WOBA again this year against lefties. Doesn't strike out either. 12% strikeout rate against left-handed pitching. And we know, again, Heaney, big fly ball pitcher, all the power allowed to righties. 220 ISO, 348 WOBA. And let's just face it, dude. The Astros lineup looks scary as hell tonight. With everyone back and with how deep it's now looking with McCormick as good as he's been, hitting 7th, that is a scary, scary team. If they can get pitching back on par, because how bad Javier's been and stuff. So, I mean that the Houston bats are going to be a problem tonight.
Yep, I'm with you. All right, outfield. We know where we're going, right? You got Acuna, you got Tucker. Jordan off the IL, all three of them in really great spots here.
Yeah, play them all. I mean, Jordan and Tucker are special against lefties. And actually, the numbers for Heaney have actually been slowly getting worse against left-handed bats. And they were actually kind of bad last year, too. He doesn't face a lot of lefties, but teams typically stack righties against them. But 326 WOBA this year, 216 or 167 ISO last year. So I don't mind going lefties against him whatsoever.
Yeah, Tucker's been a monster.
Yeah,
homer and a stolen base last night. So all of them are in. I also don't mind, again, going against Strider tonight. So Yoshida, for me, we talked about Bellinger is the highest rostered first baseman tonight. So you have him at $4,600 down here. Michael Harris is a good value at $42. McCormick, as you mentioned, down here at $4,100 is a really good value. And then we get into the actual value plays. Mike Tauchman tonight, $3,400. Lefty power bat against Lance Lynn, going to lead off for them. We'll see where Slater ends up. Hit 8th last night. If they actually go with the lefty as a starter, not an opener, maybe we'll see him lead off because he's done that a couple times this year. Tommy Pham hitting 5th tonight. He's a guy that's been hitting lefties really well this year at $3,300. Haps $3,300 platoon side for him going up against a lefty. So some good guys in the low 3K range.
Yeah, I'll throw Bader in there if you're playing Yankees. He's been good against lefties as well. Crazy to see McCormick back down to 41 after he was 4,900 yesterday, right? Yeah, I like pretty much every name you mentioned. Tommy Pham has been great against left-handed pitching. Do you prefer, what is your ranking of these Cubs outfielders? Because they're all so free. Excluding Bellinger, obviously. But Tauchman leading off 34, Happ 33. I know you mentioned all of them, but how would you rank them? Because you're not playing, you're probably not playing all three of them and taking up all three of your outfield spots. Maybe you are, maybe you're not.
Well, you can play Bellinger at first, right?
So but what about Tauchman, Happ, Suzuki? How would you rank those three?
I don't know about Seiya necessarily, right? Because he's done more of his damage against lefties, hasn't he, this year?
Yes.
He's
been okay against righties. No power, though, but just 320 WOBA has been his best number against righties.
I'd probably go Happ and then Tauchman, Seiya. Probably where I'd go with it. How do you feel about it?
That's how I'd rank them as well. I think Happ. I know Tauchman, they essentially have the same numbers Happ and Tauchman do against right-handed pitching, but Happ has more upside in my opinion.
Yeah, Tauchman. Again, it's not off the page numbers. The 150 ISO against righties this year for him. The 332 WOBA. So again, nothing that's so we've seen some crazy splits on some of these guys. They have 400 ISOs, and you're like, Jesus,
Right.
So he's not an all-star player, but you get the right matchup here, and he's certainly capable of doing damage. Happ 148 ISO, like you said, 340 WOBA though against lefties. So maybe I flipped it. Did I say Happ the first time in Tauchman?
You said Happ.
Okay, yeah. Then I would keep it the way I did. I would keep Happ, Tauchman, and Seiya for me.
That's how I'd rank him as well.
Okay. Guys under 3K, anybody off the page here for you? We have a couple of the Houston guys. Jolks is there. IKF is leading off tonight for the Yankees as well. Anybody here?
Who did San Francisco called somebody up today? Who did they call up? They called up their top prospect today.
Giants did?
They called up, what is this kid's name?
Luciano.
Is he in the player pool? He's not on the slate. Okay. That'll be interesting to see.
He's a shortstop, not on the slate though.
Okay. Okay. It's good to know. Under 3K, Kiner Falefa is 2,100 and leading off. If you wanted to go there, I don't think that anyone wants to go there, but he is leading off at 2,100. Canna, if you're playing Mets, is a contrarian play.
So Luciano is on FanDuel if you're tuning in. He is $2,500, so you can go play him tonight on FanDuel.
I think he was the 15th. I want to say he was number 15 in the prospect ranking before being called up. He was in baseball, not in the San Francisco system. So
he played 6 games at AAA before getting called up. So they just moved him right through.
They're Casey Schmidt cannot. So to what you said, Schmidt might not even be on the team by the time this lineup gets.
Sure.
I don't think they announced who was getting sent down.
But he would be the likely candidate here, right?
I would assume, or VR, one of those one of their infielders.
Sure. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, they got him. FanDuel does the projected lineups. They have him leading off, so that would be interesting.
It would be very interesting. I'm trying to. We don't have a. I keep getting updates, but not anything to do with the Giants lineup, and I'm just hoping. But it feels like anytime this happens, it's always such a delayed lineup because they're sorting through like who's going to get sent down and who's how things are going to shape out. So we'll await the Giants lineup, but if he's going to lead off, that's a game changer, especially if you can use him on FanDuel.
Yeah, $2,500 over on FanDuel. So we'll see if he's in the lineup or not, and you can go ahead and use him on over there. All right, James, let's build our lineups here and talk about our favorite Grande's Gems and Impemba imprints plays of the day as well. Give me your home run call for this evening, sir.
John, I got one right yesterday, by the way. Manny Machado. I think that was the first home run call I've gotten right in years.
It feels like it's been a bit. Happened early for us though, so happy.
It did happen early. I will go with. I'm gonna go Pete Alonso.
Okay. I thought you were gonna go with the cover boy, so I'll take him. Cody Bellinger.
Yeah. Well, I was paving the way for you to.
Thanks, appreciate it. I had a backup plan just in case, but that's fine. I was gonna go Tucker just in case you went Bellinger. So,
pass the ball to Tucker.
That works. Give me your top stack over the day, sir.
I mean, I'm gonna go Cubs as the top stack. Like default can just be Braves, but I'm gonna go Cubs here.
Yeah, I think Cubs are my favorite stack as well. Houston would be probably my pivot off of them because I don't think you can afford Braves if we're playing Strider tonight, anyways. So give me those teams. What's a value? What's your value stack today? Do we have a value stack today?
I mean, I don't know if
Yankees, I guess.
I was gonna say Mets, and more like they're not like Lindor and Alonso are not valuable.
I guess you pair them all with Alvarez and Pham, and that's your two guys under 4K. So
exactly, yep.
Okay,
exactly.
I like that.
Or you do the Pujols Goldschmidt and you play Vientos over Alonso, and he's $2,400 hitting second.
True. All right, give me your value play today.
John?
You're going Hogan Harris on me.
Going Hogan Harris. I'm going Hogan Harris.
I saw the head tilt.
I'm going
Hogan. Where you were going.
I'm going Hogan Harris today.
Give me Ian Happ. Ian Happ be my value play for today. All right, let's build our lineup. We'll get out of here early for everybody. Have some more time to mess around with this 5-game slate. Kicking off with Spencer Strider.
Yep.
Strider and who? Strider.
Who is your favorite? Who is your favorite?
Strider and Stroman is 35.
You can't, you just can't. Then that's, I think, why Stroman is being, or why Strider is not being rostered today. If you play Cubs outfield, Tauchman, Happ, you just can't, there's no infield spend ups that you can, definitively get to. Because there wasn't even infield value to get to.
Let's see. We just messed around with it, right? Whereas Mr. Boney, Tauchman.
Playing 5 Cubs today? We might be playing 5 Cubs.
Tauchman.
TAU.
Happ.
HAPP.
Bellinger. Second base.
Just get some more Cubs in there. Just start jamming some more Cubs.
Geloff. Shortstop. $3,300.
Yu Chang. No, just kidding. You already said he's not getting a hit. It would probably be Volpe in that lineup. Pena, and then 3,300 Pham. It's like one of those things where
I don't love it, but let's see, do we get Alvarez and Volpe or $100 off? $100 off Alvarez and Volpe?
We'll then go down from Pham.
I want to keep Pham. I like Pham.
Okay.
I guess get off Geloff. Just play McNeil.
Play
McNeil and see if he gets a hit off of Rodon here today.
Hits in 4 straight. Rodon's just been tough against lefties. in the past. I know this year, obviously, it has not been going well for him in any capacity. Lefties are crushing him, but it's an 11 at bat sample, right? Like it's not even like a good sample size. And McNeil, dude, we can't
You
play.
just,
039 ISO,
yeah,
276
but we just
WOBA
have to
against
hope. We
lefties.
just
Like
have to hope that Rodon gets knocked out of the game.
Yankees have a top 3 bullpen in baseball.
All right, we're gonna do Oswald.
Oswald. There's
There's
no.
no
I
Doe.
know. There is an
call him
there.
Oswaldo. He's not Oswaldo.
There is an Oswaldo on the Yankees, which is the
Does Jordan Diaz play today? If he does, I'll play him.
Probably lefty. I mean, Wood's been announced the bulk man, so he's probably
gives us
in the lineup.
$1,300 to play with. We go right back off of Volpe, go back to Pena. Swanson, just go it. We said yesterday, do we play 5 stack? And we said not usually, but tonight could be the night to play a 5 stacker. If Cubs score 8 runs tonight, we have 5 guys in that lineup.
And Strider has 13 strikeouts at
I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of am okay with this lineup. It's actually we can't do it, right? Because that's 6 with Stroman. We need to cut one.
I think you can. I think you can play 5 plus pitcher. I believe.
I don't think you can.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
I'll do it right now.
Okay.
Please hold.
Figure it out. See. I don't think you can. I think it blocks you. Mark says we can do it with Barnhart.
I plugged Barnhart just to plug Barnhart. 1, 2. How many Cubs do I have in this lineup? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, you can play it. You can play
Did
6.
you submit it?
Yeah, you can play 6.
Pitchers don't count. All right.
Pitchers don't count. They don't care. They don't even care.
Well, then I kind of like. I mean, I'm okay with what we just built here. I'm okay with it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look.
Because otherwise, like, you just get rid of Stroman and you play Hogan Harris, I guess, right? Or Alex Wood.
Or Alex Wood. Right? I mean, that's my question to you was like, if you're not spending on Stroman, who are you playing? Like, who would be your? You seemed more on the camp Wood than Hogan Harris.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Wood obviously has a longer history of being a good pitcher versus Hogan Harris, who does not have that history. And I'm aware of that. I'm not like sitting here saying like, yes, Hogan Harris is a must play, but neither is anybody else. It's like neither is anybody else.
Is it back to Jordan Diaz? I mean, that's not.
I have so many Cubs.
That's not terrible. That's not a terrible build.
Back to Bregman, Tucker. Yeah, I mean, getting Tucker, pay $9K for 20 points or $6K for 1 point. Yeah, but Mark, that's your risk aversion. Playing Hogan Harris is literally, and Alex Wood for that matter, is the level of risk aversion you have because of how low their floors are. But like Stroman hasn't necessarily had the best ceiling of late anyway. Right. He hasn't pitched all that well to be everyone in the 9K range. Stroman struggling. Bayo, best offense in baseball. Rodon struggling. Like none of those guys are surefire options. So yeah, I typically agree. You pay $9K for someone who's likely to get you 20 versus a 6K guy as a punt. That's not this slate. Like this slate is dictating something completely different. I think that's why the field is 18% playing Alex Wood and is 18% playing Hogan Harris. And watch it be Lance Lynn. That would be terrible for us because we have 6 Cubs in her. 6 Cubs.
Now I only have 4.
5
I actually kind of so this one I actually don't mind. It's a little bit more of a balance. Getting Bregman, Pena, and Tucker in there without losing like any of our core Cubs stack.
And Strider. And keeping
Strider. So I maybe this is the lineup I settle in on here tonight. What do you think?
I like it. No, I like it. I mean, we didn't have a lot of options at shortstop outside of paying up for Lindor or Pena, right? It was Lindor or Pena. Tucker has been the hottest hitter in
Even if
baseball.
Jordan Diaz doesn't play tonight, I might just keep him in the lineup. Just to eat the zero, like.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he might. I think he's going to play.
I think he does too. I mean, he plays every day for them. So,
I mean, except Tuesday, but that was their off day. And then Wednesday. I mean, well, no, it wasn't. But like Monday was their off day. He didn't play Tuesday, but that's 2 days off. Get a nice little reprieve. He's hits in 4 or 5. Yeah, I like Jordan Diaz. I think he has a 3 home run game this year against the Yankees. I remember it.
Love it. So, anyways, this is a lineup we're going to try out here today. I'll let you all know how it goes. We'll be in the Discord if you have any questions. Just 3 games tomorrow. James and Fensty will be on your live stream for about a half an hour or less, depending on how long it takes to break down the 3-game main slate. Pray for good weather because if you lose any games on a 3-gamer, you're in trouble. We'll have the podcast out in the morning. Stay tuned for that. I'll be on the Better Morning Show tomorrow at 9 a.m. So stay in, tune into that on the Better Sports Network there as well. James and I will be in the Discord. This is again the final week for our 50% off All Pro package deal that ends on Friday. So if you're not yet a Fantasy Alarm subscriber and you want to get in on the $19.98 a month discount for the first 6 months, you got to do it now. Go to fantasyalarm.com/allpro. Promo code MLB50 will save you 50% off the first 6 months. That gives you access to everything we do on site. All premium content, seasonal and DFS, gets you access to our fantasy football draft guide. It comes with a 7-day free trial, so if you sign up and you hate it, you can leave after 7 days, but no reason to do that. You'll love it.
You will.
You'll stay. You'll hang. Access to premium Discord. You can ask James and I questions all day long if you want. Other guys are in there as well. Howard Bender, Andrew Cooper, Dustin Reeland, Dan Servidideo, Matt Sells, Colby Conway, Dan Malin, the whole crew. And they're answering your lineup questions. So get in there. Stick with us. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Good luck, everybody.